How can YouTube benefit your future or maybe even destroy it? That's why we need to be careful. Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna talk about this topic in a very brief video. I don't want to be too extensive, but I felt like I needed to get some things out of my chest. So a lot of you guys might be wondering, yes, YouTube has a lot of benefits, but we also need to look at the other side, okay? How can it destroy you? How can it destroy you? A lot of people probably don't even think that. They just see YouTube as this way to get famous. And yeah, it's true, you can get famous. But in a way, it could also lead to a very dangerous downfall if you're not careful. So first, let's talk about the benefits of YouTube. Yes, you could create a brand. You could create an audience of people that want to come and see you day after day and get to know you as a person, as a personality, as an influencer, as a content creator. And, you could grow a fan base. You could sell a lot of merch. You could raise money for charity. The opportunities of being a YouTuber are endless. And yes, it could benefit your future because YouTube is so lucrative. That is something that I wanted to tell people that I've been actually telling people for a long time. YouTube has a lot of benefits and it's very lucrative because the videos that you make, they stay there forever. And I mean, they stay there as long as you have them public, they're going to stay there for the whole world to see. Now, that is gonna end up being a snowball effect in the future because if people find your videos, they're gonna see your whole catalog of videos and they're gonna want to watch all the videos that you've put, which is gonna cause a lot of views to come to your channel, which equals monetization, ad revenue, sponsorships. You guys know how YouTube works. So those are the benefits of having a YouTube channel. Now let's talk about the other side that maybe people don't even mention, or maybe people just neglect it because they don't really want to get into the specifics. But YouTube in a way can actually destroy you. It could destroy your livelihood. It could destroy the very life that you're living right now. That's why we need to be careful if we want to be content creators. Okay, so let's start off with maybe some of the smaller things and then let's talk about how it could gradually get worse. Okay, so let's say you're a YouTuber and you start getting all this clout, you start getting all this popularity. Sometimes if you're not careful, allegations can come against you. We've seen a lot of YouTubers that have been allegedly what's the word? They've been accused of doing different things. And, sometimes people get it right. Sometimes they're just rumors. But, all this happened because it was a YouTuber and you had your face out there for the whole world to see. So we need to be careful on how we live our life, obviously, because it's like we should be living a life that's well put together, if that's the best way for me to put it, right? So walk the best that you can because you don't want to later get popular just for people to speak out against you. Right? You don't want people to come out and expose you for the person that you were, for what you did in the past, right? Especially if you have some bad apples in your past, they're going to come out and expose you. So that's why you need to just try to live a good life that's away from problems, that's away from all these situations that could potentially get you canceled. And yes, I know cancel culture is probably still a thing. You guys could inform me. I'm not really into that whole YouTube drama stuff. But if you're not careful with how you are, sooner than later you're gonna get exposed. And that's how YouTube can kind of destroy your life because you put yourself out there as an influencer, as a social media content creator, and people are going to notice you, then they're probably going to expose you if you're not careful. And another way that it could probably destroy you is just the popularity in itself. Sometimes influencers, they get all this fame, they get all this fortune, they start seeing those YouTube paychecks that they let all this power go into their head, so they start doing the most disgusting things imaginable. I'm sorry to get into these types of topics, but these topics are a very good conversation to bring up, just to kind of give you guys a heads up into what you're signing up for as a YouTuber, right? So it sucks, but there's people out there that probably take advantage of other people just because they're YouTubers. They have this power of of being an influence. So you know what? Like I'm not really into, like I said, YouTube drama, but let's just bring up Keemstar and FouseyTube. I know a lot of you guys know them. So I remember Fousey saying that he was scared of Keemstar in the past because, Keemstar has this big drama alert channel. So, you let that get to your head because it's like there's channels out there that are just ready to expose you, that are just ready to just document or to talk about something that, you're going through. And it's something that we need to be careful as we grow on YouTube, because there's always those channels that talk about people. They talk about their downfalls. They talk about everything. So we need to just be careful. That could really destroy someone, especially if you get popular, right? Because FouseyTube got popular and, he started, going through his whole manic episodes. He started going through all these things that Drama Alert started talking about him and all these things. And FouseyTube, telling Keemstar that he wanted to unalive himself for that, and it's kind of like we need to be mindful of all these things. And, maybe I'm not the best person to be speaking about this because, I'm just an internet dweeb in front of his computer just talking about life and stuff, but we need to be extra careful. Once we become YouTubers, we do not have to let the fame and fortune get to our head. Just because we are these popular influencers does not mean we get to go out there and become jerks and douchebags and these people who think that we're above everyone else. No, if anything, I always pray to God that I don't become this egotistical, power hungry, money hungry jerk, that a lot of people tend to become once they get famous and stuff. No, like I always tell God that I want to be humble. I want to be kind. I want to be genuine. I never want to let money get to my head, because I know it is something that a lot of people, they let it get to their head. So don't ever let these money hungry thoughts and desires get to you. I'm not saying that you can't strive to make a living or be successful. No, by all means, I want everyone to at least try to be successful, but never let it get to your head. So YouTube, in a way, can open these doors to destroy you. That's why we need to be careful as people. We need to be careful as content creators, because sometimes we also make mistakes. We also make errors. There's a lot of drama channels that have made mistakes, and what happens? They tend to apologize, but because of those mistakes, they also ruin their reputation. Or think about the streamers that are, live streaming Call of Duty or Fortnite. A lot of them have been caught hacking or aimbotting on their streams, and their reputations are completely destroyed, which is why, not only YouTube, but all these other platforms can potentially destroy you. Instagram can destroy you. Kick can destroy you. What's the other word? Twitch. Twitch can also destroy you. All these Kick streamers that are not really respected, like Neon or who else? There's a lot of other streamers that, are not really respected because they're just, oh my gosh, I look at them and I completely cringe because they're so out of touch. Oh my gosh, they act so crazy and so dumb. And that's because the fame and the fortune gets to their head. What's so wrong about being a humble, genuine person on the internet? Like, is that so hard to ask for? Is that rare? Like, I want to get to the point where this is my job, and I want to show the world that there are still good YouTubers out there. There are still good people like me out in the world. And I just want to share that with anyone that comes across my path. And I just want to bless the unfortunate. I want to bless my family. I want to bless my friends. I want to bless everyone. And, I started rambling, but who cares? That's what's inside my heart right now. So thank you guys for watching and for listening. YouTube is going to recommend 2 videos. Click on whichever one that you want to watch, like and subscribe, comment for the algorithm, and I'll see you guys soon.